love my wife. I had 4 dogs, and you've seen one, my 4th dog is here today, Billy. I had 2 great children. One, my daughter, directs the one of the directors of the Glastonbury Festival. He's an event organizer who lives in Stoke Newington. And my son, who just called me.
He's got a great sense of timing.
Very good, Josh. He called me, he's professor as a chair of neurology in San Francisco. So that he's doing great research. And I'm very blessed. I have enough money, I have a nice house, I have enough food, I've written many books. What else is in LA? I'm still alive. My legs aren't so wonderful. I haven't been able to do the London Marathon. That will be another lifetime, I think. But it's been great. As for being sidelined, being ostracized, I say, fuck it.
Yeah. I think one of the other things I wanted to explore with you is your hope. I mean, you have been a major player in how the mental health system has evolved, and the title of this conference is Safely Held Spaces. This gathering, sorry, I keep saying conference. Is Safely Held Spaces, and in your observation, are we on an upward tangent from where we were when you stepped in and actually made a really big difference in the whole mental health world? Or have we sort of somehow lost that pioneering spirit to make a difference?
You call me as a major player. I like to think of myself as a minor minnow.
Well, as a minor minnow in a big pond, in a small pond, you're a major player. Because actually, people were forced to think differently about mental health. It was suddenly the stigmas went. And we also had Mary Barnes speaking at St James's, and she was full of eloquence about how her journey had taken her through madness and into something quite extraordinary.
When I first came here in the 60s, there was a lot of psychosurgery being done. Psychosurgery is they take a knife and cut through the top of all this.
Uh-oh.
Cut into the eye of the eye.
Lovely, I feel great, thank you.
And it's supposed to relieve you of the connections between the emotion, front part of the brain, and back part of the brain, between temporal lobe and the frontal lobes. It was a kind of sadistic attack on people's emotional state. In this regard, I would say Ronnie Lang once told me when he was a registrar in Glasgow, there's this guy who was a terror of the whole hospital. Terror of the whole hospital. And he'd go around screaming, "The buggers are after me! The buggers are after me!" So they gave him drugs, and they gave him electric shock, and they gave him psychosurgery. And they thought this would quiet him down, all for his own good, of course. And then eventually he woke up from the psychosurgery, and a couple of days later he started to scream again. "I can't hear the buggers no more! I can't hear the buggers no more!" One of the first things Ronnie told me about. I think the time of psychosurgery, mind you, if I would be, most of the psychosurgery, a lot of it was performed on truculent Saudi teenagers whose parents sent them here because they couldn't be controlled in Saudi Arabia. All right. But, and President Kennedy's sister also was treated this way. So there was a time that psychosurgery was passing. Insulin shock was passing. Electric shock still hasn't passed, but it's going down a lot. Nowadays, people are given tranquilizers to put people on ice. You know that the major tranquilizers, like Orgacto, were originally discovered as inducing hypothermia. So if someone, I forget who, thought, well, if you've got people on ice, put people on ice and induce hypothermia, maybe you could calm them down. Unfortunately, too much of this tranquilizers turned out to be causing, after 6 months, a permanent Parkinsonism. And people go around like this. Not about, they can't get rid of it. There's a price we paid. These drugs are still used now in great amount. But people thought the opposite was talking to people. They didn't do that much of it when I came. Now they do more of it. And I hope I contributed to this in some way.
I think the other thing that was quite extraordinary was the Hours Association, Philadelphia Association, where you set up safe houses where people, the therapists and the patients lived together, and in many ways were equal, although obviously it wasn't completely that way. Do you see that as a noble experiment that has worked?
I like to think of that Kingsley Hall was a community for people. People live together. Some people were called psychiatrists. Some people were called patients or mental patients. But they all lived together. They all worked like a ship of fools. Like a ship of fools. The community, but you have to understand, was not just for people who were crazy, called crazy, might be crazy, or were just foolish. It was the community, to begin with, was a place where a lot of middle-aged psychiatrists came to shed their first wives and take on younger wives.
The other thing that I like, it's such a hard act to engage with actually, but anyway, we're going to go. The other thing I've been aware of, Joe, is your sort of your embracing of your Jewish religion at this later stage in your life. And can you tell me what that's about for you?
There's a deeper reality to reality. Look around, more people here, and we're laughing, talking to each other, hopefully. What goes on underneath this? What goes on in our unconscious? What goes on in our deepest guts doesn't come out much. And in England, I noticed people tend to be very reluctant to be emotional with each other. American people more emotional, but more superficial. Something called spirituality is a sense to try to reach out to the inner essence of things. I've always been interested in the inner essence of reality, the deepest depth. What goes on in Malcolm's guts? Last time we were together, we almost took off our clothes.
He's the only person I know who completely out-trumps me. I mean, there's quite a few people who know me in this audience, but I always feel quite bashful and shy around you.
That's something that wasn't Ronnie's métier, being bashful and shy. Once he was invited to give grand rounds at Massachusetts Mental Hospital, the great hospital, the doyen of mental hospitals in America. So they all thought he was a fool, or a misfit, or a fraud. And the grand rounds that you have, you can imagine, huge room, 3 times this size, rows and rows of seats, and there's all these doctors and students and people there, and professors, and all waiting for him to make a fool of himself. So how did they arrange this? They brought in the most dangerous, most difficult, most recalcitrant women in the hospital. And with a diagnosis of schizophrenia and God knows what. So imagine this. There's Lang, over here. And the woman comes in. First thing she does, takes off all her clothes. And sits on the floor. Whereupon Ronnie takes off all his clothes and sits next to her. And they start to talk. And this woman, who people said was, you couldn't communicate with her, they had a jolly good discussion, like we are today. Then after half an hour, she put on her clothes, he put on his clothes, and they wheeled her out. And this was to show, it showed that even the most difficult, recalcitrant woman, if you treat her right, if you treat her with respect, if you follow what she's into, if you understand her experience, and this is one of Lang's greatest triumphs, I was chained. Instead of looking at people's behavior, you look at what they're trying to what they experience. If you focus on what people experience, not their behavior, the whole avenue of understanding opens up. So I think that this is another example of how things have changed. I keep hearing God. It's a holy place,
So we're coming close to the end of our time together, but I think what I love most about is your irreverence, Joe, which no one could accuse you of being reverent. But it lives alongside a very reverent side, a part that is very much in awe of the divine, or your concept of the divine. And for me, that's quite a rare combination, and one that I respect enormously.
Thank you.
So I'd like to thank very much Dr. Joseph Berke for a very entertaining talk.